and welcome to RTD's English News Edition. It is time for our English News Edition and take a look at our major stories. Inauguration of the new port of Tadjoura by the head of state. The Minister of Foreign Affairs declares the withdrawal of Qatar from Jumeirah.
That was the headlines, and now welcome. The President of the Republic, Mr. Anglais, was this morning in Tadjoura to preside over the inauguration and ceremony of the new port of the city in the region, and very known for being the only port of transit between Ethiopia and the Arab countries. Tadjoura will roll up, which has made its reputation several centuries ago, and will have a few new phases, which 35% of goods they allow to export the natural needs, notably potash, and import goods in bulk at the destination to Ethiopia, carried out by Chinese company and financed up to 19 billion by the Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and European funds. The port of Tadjoura will have the capacity to stimulously accommodate two phases of 65,000 tons. It is going to be able to generate 200 indirect jobs and 500 dockers and more than 2,000 jobs with the start of the operation of the new port of Tadjoura. It will allow to open the second corridor of exchange with Ethiopia with the road Tadjoura, well in course of construction. Upon its arrival to Tadjoura, the President has been welcomed by a page head honor of the Army Force of Tadjoura in the presence of the military authorities, where he has been welcomed by the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil, on his side, the Minister of the Port and the administrative authorities and elected members of the region. The population of Tadjoura is strongly mobilized, both the way was long and the numbers benefit for the realization of the port, which will create a new dynamism and economic boom for the region of Tadjoura at the first, but also for the whole of this country. In addition to the jobs generated, the new port will mobilize the local ceremony while diversifying and economic, while diversifying the chain link of port infrastructure of Djibouti. This port will be lever for growth and through a new map with creation of the second north corridor for the exchange with Ethiopia. The new port of Tadjoura will also reinvigorate the process of decentralization with an increase in activities and exchange with Ethiopia. Despite the Ramadan, the population of Tadjoura has welcomed the President of the Republic, Mr. Anglais, whom embodies the promise that he had announced for a promising future. Musical groups accompanying young dancers of Tadjoura present a show rich and various on the occasion of the new port of Tadjoura, whose ceremony was broadcast live on RTD.
The authorities of the region of Tadjoura, Mr. Abdul Malik Bonita, and the President of the Regional Council, Amr Hussein, have thanked for the realization of the promise which has been made to the Tadjourans. This new port will be very beneficial for the economy, they said, of the region of Tadjoura, with opportunities for hiring and the creation of activities with the operation of the port.
For the director of the port, Mr. Saad Umar Gele, Tadjoura, formerly known for its maritime activities between Ethiopia and the Arab countries, will resume its place of transit for all trade with the Ethiopian with this new port. The President of the authorities port has thanked the financial partners who is France, Saudi and Kuwait, and has stated that the port of Tadjoura will be the fourth platform and will benefit the economy with the proximity of the second maritime route, the most important in the world.
Many officials and representatives of the country's friends, who's Ethiopia, took part in the inauguration ceremony of the new port of Tadjoura. Mr. Ahmed Shirri, Minister of Transport of Ethiopia, has expressed himself in this way.
It gives me great honor and privilege to attend the inauguration of the grand opening ceremony of the port of Tajora on this historic day and in this historic city of Tajora. I would like to take this opportunity to convey the congratulatory message of the peoples and the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to the brotherly people and government of the Republic of Djibouti on the occasion of the successful completion of this magnificent infrastructure project worth of some $80 million. As we closely observe the commencement of the other ports and transit infrastructure development expansion projects underway in Djibouti, we feel the commitment and extraordinary leadership of His Excellency President Ismail Omar Gelle and his administration for having translated their vision into such a formidable economic asset which will serve for the present and the future generation of this historic nation and the region. The brotherly relation of our two sisterly countries has come a long way to have reached an important chapter in recent history, whereby the two governments have been cooperating to the achievement of economic integration agenda. The scope and the scale of bilateral economic and trade cooperation relations between Ethiopia and Djibouti has achieved remarkable success thanks to the joint effort of our leadership and government and the peoples and enterprise of our two countries. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, investing in logistics infrastructure to accommodate our growing economies in this region contributes significantly to promote the port of Djibouti and its transit route as a location of choice for international maritime trade transport, which consequently has a positive impact on our positions in the global trade competitiveness.
As for the Egyptian Minister of Equipment and Transport, that this inauguration, like others which have already taken place or those to came, is the success of the productivity policy recently to the make emerge in the Republic of Djibouti as a regional platform for the trade and service. He recalled that the White City has a long history of commercial corridor with Ethiopia, when it's by Tajora that Spain the goods destined for Ethiopia. In these modern times, an accelerator for our exchange, shortening distance and enable men and women of the country to position itself resolutely on the road to progress. This is the flagship of the port in is a strategic developing port for Ethiopia and Djibouti. It will participate in the opening up of the north of our Ethiopian partner to export a significant quantity of reserves of ores, usually of pontage that has the origin of Tigray. For our dear country, it is the opportunity to promote the economic development of the region of Tajora by creating opportunity for working in order to reduce unemployment, especially of young people. It leads us not to forget one of the firm commitments of our President of the Republic.
In speaking for this occasion, the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, has expressed its joy and pride to congratulate the population of Tajora for the inauguration of this new port. 4 years ago, he said at the time of starting this project, it was going to change irreversibly the face of this city. It is beneficial for our republic, first because the port of Tajora becomes a new mean of this diversification. It is an asset for the future because on the one hand, it is a point in economic space of Djibouti, and on the other hand, it creates an additional branching of access Djibouti, Ethiopia, who has the vocation by the density of exchanges per volume to be the engine of growth for our sub-region, the President has indicated. Then beneficial for the region of Tajora in particular and for the development of the territory in general. In effect, for the region of Tajora, the impact of this project is both in terms of the creation of employment, up to 250 direct jobs generated by the site, in creation of wealth with the thousands of expected activities. With regard to the territory like the port of Tajora and other project structuring of infrastructure that we have implemented this last year, he said, The port of Tujora makes emerging new organization of the space that gives a serious acceleration to our national development policy of the territory, has insisted the head of state. An organization that now writes our regions on a trajectory of balance. Since the act of decentralization, we had continued to affirm our desire to put in place a sovereign model to develop at both the national and local level, which is a factor of economic and social transformation, and in which could find itself a flourish all our fellow citizens. The political part of this act has given a reason for satisfaction through the existence of a local democracy. It said that the transfer of jurisdiction and administrative aspects have had difficulty to put in place, not by lack of will of the state, but because they necessarily demand this. However, it is not a secret for anyone that our region continues to suffer from imbalance of development, which has only worsened as the disproportionate increase in the capital has continued. The president now, economic modernization on which works the government is initiated at the national level and reflects our commitment to leave no region to the gap, nor to go to this contribution to the national wealth. I wish, he said, that Tujora, Obok, Dikhil, Ali Sibih, Arta, in each of these regions to equip itself with growth and enjoys real projects in a solid lane, in order that this last remains a collective construction carrier of solidarity and efficiency.
After the official speech, the president, surrounded by the prime minister and the transport ministers, Djiboutian and Ethiopian, as well as representatives of the financial partners, as the authorities of the region and the representative of the ports of Djibouti and the authority of the port have participated in the ceremony. This new mining mission policy, the regional and national economic, will strengthen the integration with the Ethiopian completion of the port of Tujora and was the promise of the president. It will create opportunities for jobs in the region.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mohammed Ali Yusuf, has declared that the state of Qatar has decided to manage unilateral withdrawals from the mediation, which assumes the border conflict between Djibouti and Eritrea in the night of 12 to 13 June. The observation force deployed on Dumaira are withdrawing permanently of their position, he said.
The President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad, began a 3 days official visit to Switzerland. Was at the invitation of the President of the Switzerland Parliament, His Excellency Mr. Joachim Stahl. The President of the National Assembly is accompanied for this official visit of a strong delegation of parliamentarians, Djiboutian parliamentarians, and has to know the Honorable Hassan Saeed Qumani, Uma Muhammad Hamid, Wahib Ahmed bin Ahmed, Muhammad Daoud Shahim, and Noor Warsama Mire, as well as His Excellency Qadra Ahmed Hassan, Ambassador Permanent Representative of the Republic of Djibouti to the United Nations, and Switzerland, Mr. Hamad Kaba Meki, as the Permanent Mission of Djibouti in Geneva. His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad and his delegation have been welcomed to the Swiss Parliament by the President of National Council, Jean Stahl, which they have had a formal interview, in the course of which they exchange have focused on issues of common interest to the two countries. This meeting is a major advance in the relation between the two parliaments and its launch the solid foundation of the relations of cooperation in the future. Furthermore, the two presidents have also addressed the issues of international security, migration, the particularity of the parliamentarian system in Switzerland and Djibouti, capacity building, as well as the inclusion of Djibouti as a priority country for Swiss and development cooperation. Finally, at the end of the discussion, the President of the National Assembly in turn has invited his Swiss counterparts as perform an official visit to the Parliament of Djibouti in the month of October 2017 during the regular session of the National Assembly.
An effervescent atmosphere prevailed yesterday at the Camp Durrali. The premises have housed an award ceremony of the stripes and medals were awarded by the Minister of Equipment and Transport, Mohammed Abdul Qadir, and Colonel Vice Murbaqori, Commander of Djibouti and Coast Guard. The event saw the participation of several officers and sub-officers. The main agents concerned are seeing repair of stripes as well as medals and for their services rendered to the nation. That's it for tonight's news. Thanks for joining us in RTD and have a good night.